wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
All right.
Happy born day.
Happy born day, Michael Jackson.
I had no idea Michael Jackson was a Virgo.
Man.
I thought his sign was vitiligo. I had no idea.
Shut up, man.
All this time, who knew that they were saying Virgo and not vitiligo?
Yo, shut up. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Charlamagne the God. Let's get in some front page news.
We got a guest co-host, too. I thought I saw her outside. Maybe I was seeing things.
I just want to, before we say
Yeah, I'm not going to say the
is,
name yet.
Yeah,
But
let's,
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see in a minute.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get him some front page news. Teslin Figaro, good morning.
Good morning, DJ Envy. Good morning, Charlamagne the God and the Breakfast Club family.
How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's unfortunate we have to keep covering these sad stories, and I have to be the bearer of bad news. But you know, it's the front page news. So
let's jump right into it. UNC.
Yeah, unfortunately, remember, guys, we were covering these stories. It seemed like at one point, like back to back, you know, every week. And then we had a little bit of a break. And now, unfortunately, we're back to covering it. Let's listen to what happened at UNC yesterday. The report by NBC. We'll talk about it on the other side.
UNC police received a 911 call at 1:02 p.m. this afternoon reporting shots fired at Caudle Laboratory, located on South Road in the near the center of campus. An emergency alert Carolina was issued, and the emergency siren sounded at 1:04 p.m., notifying campus of the emergency and issuing a lockdown. Upon arrival at Caudle Labs, police discovered one individual, a faculty member, had been shot. Unfortunately, as we have reported, this person is deceased. We will not be releasing further details on that person at this time, as we are working to contact all of this person's family, and will be providing them with support and resources. This is the only fatality, and no other injuries were reported.
So this isn't considered a mass shooting then? This is an individual shooting. Is he targeting this one person?
Correct. They don't know at this particular time. Now, this is the update as of this morning. What people have to understand, these shootings are, you know, live updates constantly changing. And at this particular time, they have not found the firearm that is connected to the shooting, or at least they haven't reported it. They also say they don't know what type of weapon it is, obviously, because they haven't found it. They don't know if it was legally obtained or not, and they do not know a motive at this particular time. And you're right, it is not a mass shooting, because that's usually multiple shootings. But they did say that now, with this shooting, 28,000 people have died as a result of gun violence. That's according to the gun violence archive.
So sad, man.
Yeah, I wonder what the number is now. I know back in July, the U.S. had top 400 mass shootings in 2023. Even though this wasn't a mass shooting, I just wonder what the number is now, especially after what happened in what was that?
Florida. Yeah, Florida yesterday. Yeah, and I want to say something with the Florida one, because more details are coming out. If you see something that looks a little funny, that looks a little crazy, report it. They said yesterday the shooter went on that HBCU campus, and students seen him and said, this guy don't look right. He's putting on tactical gear. Let's call the police. And then they called the police. When the police pulled up on him, he took off. So if they didn't report seeing that guy putting tactical gear on, all that, he would have definitely shot up that HBCU. So
yeah, ain't no way. There's nothing that looks more suspicious than a man putting on tactical gear in 90-degree weather.
Mask
and
what
all
the
hell?
That. Yeah. So
shout out to Edward Waters University. And quickly, Charlamagne, to answer your question, this year mass shootings, it's been 470 mass shootings across the U.S. so far this year, to answer your question. And mass shooting is, again, defined as 4 or more people who have been injured or killed. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Envy, because I failed to mention that yesterday. We talked a lot about it. But again, shout out to Edward Waters University. And it just shows you how close you are. I spoke at Edward Waters last year in the fall, and I brought my daughter, to the campus. And we walked around and we went out and looked at the band, try to get her really excited about the majorettes. And it just really makes you, a lot of folks sit back and say, oh, this doesn't happen to me and I'm not close to it. But I just thought about what if, that could have been us on the campus, or my daughter, or any of those students that I met last year. So it's just so unfortunate. And people have to understand we're closer to this than what we think.
Yeah, no, it's very scary. I got 2 kids that's in college right now, and I had to call Logan last night and be like, yo, just have a plan just in case. Know where you're going, know where you're hiding, know where you need to get out of Dodge if need be. Don't just think everything is all sweep. So, and it's sad that I had to have that conversation. I had that conversation with Madison 3 years ago when she first started school, but I had to have that conversation with Logan just to be careful. Just if you hear something, you know where you need to go. Don't be sitting there looking like a fool. Like, know where you need to go, know your exits and all that. And it's horrible. We had to have that conversation.
Yeah, and salute to Lieutenant Antonio Bailey. They say he's the person who, really prevented that dude from entering the campus of HBCU, and they said he prevented probably a potential catastrophe. So salute to Lieutenant Antonio Bailey.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say this, Envy, while you're there, I had to have that conversation with my niece Jordan. Shout out to Jordan at OU. But because she had to shelter down. Remember earlier this year when they had that scare at Oklahoma University. And so, yeah, we're having these conversations in real time, and they had to shelter down. She was so disturbed because the kids were kind of laughing and playing it off and talking loud, and she was huddled down, trying to be quiet. So again, to the students out there, when it is time to shelter down, it's not time to play, and go. I get it that people want to take pictures and go live and think it's a joke, but at the end of the day, this is really serious. So again, we just have to keep staying vigilant. If you see something, say something.
All right. Well, that is front page news. All right, Tez, we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Absolutely.
Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Again, 800-585-1051. Call us up right now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got our special guest co-host this morning. Don't call me white girl. Good morning. Good morning, Mona.
Good morning,
How you
Envy.
feeling?
I'm feeling good.
All right. Well, let's get in some front page news. What up, Tiz?
What's going on, DJ Envy? Good morning, Mona. I've been waiting on you to pull up on us.
Good morning.
And good morning, Charlamagne the God.
Peace, Ted.
Well, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about this guard freed after being held hostage.
Yeah, being held hostage for some chicken patties and, some hot food. Poor Pop. Investigators are seeking charges for the 5 inmates accused of taking a 70-year-old guard hostage Tuesday at the Justice Center in downtown St. Louis. Let's take a listen.
A 70-year-old jail guard is safe after inmates took him hostage in St. Louis. It happened at the city's downtown Justice Center around 6 this morning. Sources say the detainees wanted pizza and chicken patties in exchange for his release, complaining that the jail does not have enough hot food. The guard was let go more than 2 hours later. A 70-year-old jail.
Now, the jail has had multiple problems, not just hot food. Let's take a listen to some of the issues that they've had, and then we'll talk about it all on the other side.
But this jail has been rife with controversy. In 2021, detainees got loose, busted windows, set sheets on fire. We learned a number of the locks on the doors were broken. Then it was reports of rampant fights and brutal beatings inside. Of late, First Alert 4 Investigates has been looking into a number of deaths in the jail. And we've been tracking the growing number of inmates being housed there after the mayor closed the medium security institution, also known as the Workhouse, on Hall Street.
I mean, it's very sad that these inmates don't have food, but also I was thinking, and not nothing against ageism, but I don't know if a 70-year-old guard should be guarding a jail in a prison.
For real.
You know what I mean? That's kind of your older. I don't know if he's frail or not, but he's 70 years old, and there's no way that 70-year-old man can outpower them young inmates.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And also, man, I see people laughing at this situation, chuckling. But that could be any of us in the future. Don't think that's just going to happen in jail. Folks is out here broke. And if we don't find a way to make sure that the poor and disenfranchised can eat, they're going to be holding us all hostage until they can eat. Imagine being so poor that you don't have any food. And a person with a meal is a come up. Y'all remember that old Tupac interview when Tupac was on MTV and Tupac told us that this was going to happen? People are going to stop singing and dancing. And, if they know you got a full smorgasbord in there, they're going to break into your crib and take what they want because they're hungry.
Yeah.
That could be anybody at any given moment.
Inmates holding a guard hostage and they only asking for food is indicative of their conditions way over them just wanting control or something. So it's something going crazy in that jail. They need to help them inmates over there.
That's
free the jails.
Free the jails. The whole jail, Mo? Now,
some of
them need to be in there.
Most of them.
Some of them need to be in there.
Yeah, free some of them if they're in there for crimes they didn't commit.
Yeah,
and the guard was not armed at the time. And, I know people are chuckling at it because I kind of, at first when I saw it, I was kind of like, are they saying, hand over the chicken patties or else? So when I looked at it quickly, I thought it was, I can see why people thought it was funny. But then as I began to dig into the story, that's why I played that second clip to show that it really is a problem, going on there with cleanliness and everything else. So they really are trying to get this jail, in better conditions. So you're right. And again, that guard was unarmed at the time as well.
What Mona said is real. Say it again, Mona.
Anytime it's a riot or they holding people hostage, you have all kind of conditions. People want a helicopter, people want $1 million These brothers want chicken patties and pizza. They
hungry.
starving for real. That's a real deal issue.
That's right.
And I think, what is it, St. Louis, Missouri?
St. Louis, yep.
They're always the highest on the homicide list. They always have the most murders. St. Louis is a really rough place for infringed people. So the jails are always a reflection of what's going on with the poor people, because poor people are jailed more than other people. So we need to get over there and help them brothers out, because they're going through something over there.
Mm-hmm. Now let's jump right into the Trump trial.
Yeah, just a quick update. We'll be doing many of these throughout the next year, but they have determined the court date for March 4th. Let's listen to the report.
As a federal judge has just scheduled one of the most important trials in our democracy's history, alongside one of the most important days on next year's presidential calendar. Following a contentious hearing between federal prosecutors and Donald Trump's attorneys, Judge Tanya Chutkan ruled that the former president will stand trial on March 4th of next year to face criminal charges that he orchestrated a conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election. So here.
Yeah, I said it once and I'll say it again. The GOP has to move away from Donald Trump. Like, his campaign should absolutely be suspended until all of this is behind him. You should not be able to still run for president when you got 4 indictments and 91 criminal charges. At the least, it's too much of a distraction.
I hate that I see so many people out there believing that this is like some kind of conspiracy from the the Democrats just for him not to vote. He's a criminal, people. It was only a matter of time he went to jail. I mean, everybody knows that.
That's an interesting point about so many people, because we talked about that yesterday. Break that down again, Charlamagne, on how those numbers are really a false idea of how many people. Mention what you said yesterday.
Well, I'm not going to say it's a false idea. I'm just going to say that, you know, when you look at the T-shirts that he sold, if it was whatever million, if they were $47 a pop, that's 150,000 people. Now, I know millions of people will still go out there and vote for him, but I don't think Donald Trump can win a general election, because I don't think Donald Trump, I don't think independents are going to rock with Donald Trump this time around. I think those hypothetical swing voters that voted for Obama and then turned around and voted for Trump, or may have voted for Biden last time, I don't think they're going to rock with Donald Trump this time, personally.
See, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I do feel like, you know, if he has been charged, shouldn't he have to go through trial and be found guilty before people can decide if he should run or not? So, you know what I mean? I really don't have a problem with him running, because he wasn't found guilty. Now, with all these charges, if he is found guilty, then you wipe his ass off for there. But the fact that he's just been charged, isn't America the country, regardless of if you like him or not?
Not when you're running for president. I might agree with that in a lot of other situations, but not when you're running for the president of the United States of America. This ain't just a job.
It's prestigious. Yeah, no way.
But that's been
you
thrown
can't
out
be fighting the case and trying to be the president.
But that's been thrown out the window the first time he became the president, though, right?
Nah, he wasn't facing no criminal charges.
Yeah, he wasn't a crook or a felon.
People just didn't like him.
I mean, the man said some wild stuff, grabbed by the pee. He's been racist to black people. He did everything unimaginable where he shouldn't be president.
That's just ethics. I agree with that too. That's just ethics. But that was just a matter of ethics and morals. This is actual criminal charges. Like,
well, and another point I just want to bring out, this trial, you know, his defense attorneys tried to ask to do the trial like 2 years from now, you know, and that's what the big debate was with the judge yesterday. She kept saying, you know, give me a realistic time that you need to actually get prepared for trial. And they wouldn't do that. So we want to do it 3 years from now. They said, no, we're going to actually do it in March. But just as an FYI, this will be on voters' mind the day before they vote for the Republican primary. So this is March 4th, and Super Tuesday for Republicans only, just to be clear, for the primaries is March 5th.
Now that's strategic. That's strategic. Now come on, Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae knows what she's doing with that. That's strategic.
Well, this isn't Fannie Mae on this one. This is the other judge. This is the federal judge. Remember, so many indictments, we got to keep up with them all. But
this, a lot of them.
Yeah, this is the DC judge.
Oh, that's strategic.
Yeah, that's very strategic. But she said, you know, we it's enough time for you guys to figure it out between now and March. So when you go into the polls, these states, Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Vermont and Virginia, you will have to make a decision that day to say, do you want to vote for somebody that started trial the day before?
And, you know, that poll came out this weekend that says more than half the country wants Donald Trump to suspend his campaign.
Yeah.
You know,
and just as another FYI, the first trial actually will begin on January 15th. That is for the civil defamation trial. Remember with E. Jean Carroll, how he was, you know, putting her down and she did a civil suit. So that's actually the first trial, January 15th.
All right. Well, that is front page news. Thank you, Tiz.
No, absolutely.
And listen, make sure you subscribe to Tesla and Figaro's podcast, the Straight Shot No Chaser podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network, and follow Tesla and Figaro on all social media platforms at Tesla and Figaro.
All right, well, let's open up the phone lines, 800-585-1051. Now, Bobby Lights, you know him from Love and Hip Hop, also Trina's cousin, is calling out some of his so-called friends for unfollowing him on social media. So let's open up the phone lines, 800-585-1051. If somebody unfollows you on social media, does that mean that your real life friendship is in question? That's
sick.
Man, what?
That you don't that now that they unfollow you on social media, they're not your real friend in real life?
Welcome to where we are in 2023. It's ridiculous.
That has happened to you, right?
Yes, I tried to do the whole, because the cool people, you don't follow anybody back. People just follow you. So I made it halfway through, and people are emailing me, calling me, family members like upset, like, well, I didn't know we had beef over an unfollow.
Really?
People take it serious. And my goal was to not follow anybody because I want to be focused on my own thing. But I only made it halfway through, so I unfollowed like 1,000 people, and all of them are upset with me.
I wonder about people who don't follow nobody, though. So what do you look at when you open up your Instagram?
Nothing. And I felt like I was, because you're on your phone a lot, and I was following a lot of blogs and negative stuff. You know what I'm just looking at stuff I don't care about, super negative. So I figure if I don't look at nothing, I'll be just putting stuff on there, using it as a job because I'm a content creator. That was my point. I wasn't trying to be shady, but people mad at me. I don't know if I'm gonna get any Thanksgiving invites.
I would do that. I would do that if they stopped giving me suggested posts. If I unfollow everybody, would they stop giving me suggested posts?
They might, because it's all about the algorithm.
Yeah.
The new Instagram sucks.
Yeah, I
Please
really
fix it.
I really don't care. I remember Ludacris unfollowed me and he called me. This was a long time ago. And I asked him why. He was like, yeah, I just want to let you know I unfollowed you. You put too many party flyers up, but you DJing all the time, and I don't want to see that on my feed, so I unfollowed you. I didn't have a problem. I'm like, I started laughing. I don't care if you unfollow me or follow me.
Nobody.
But let's talk about it. 800-585-1051. If somebody unfollows you on social media, does that put your real life friendship in question? Let's discuss. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.